Welcome back to another quick review. Today, we have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. This is a game in which, if you're playing the Kingdom Hearts franchise, this is where it starts to get very, very confusing. Um, I think, well, let's start with the gameplay. I think the gameplay is good. I think that the idea of having three different save files with three different characters that you could play out, then head on to the end of the game was really good. Seeing each of their stories as they're trying to find each other and their journeys to the characters they become, and inevitably at the end of the game, and then the continuation of those characters in games like to a certain extent Dream Drop Distance, but more Kingdom Hearts 3, right? And then I think the command deck system, while flawed, could also be very fun and allows for a lot of you you can it's you can customize it. It's very flexible. It's very flexible with how it works, and you can pretty much do anything you want with it, which I really do like to a certain extent. The combat, while it could feel very floaty, in my opinion, I think it does feel floaty. It does feel a tad bit slow at times, but not too slow. I think it's also very good. It's Kingdom Hearts staple, if you will. Now let's talk about the story itself. The story, this is where things start to get confusing. Now, like I said, I like the fact that these three characters, Terra, Ventus, Aqua, all not so much interact with each other, because they definitely do that as they're friends, but their stories intertwine with each other and lead into other games of the Kingdom Hearts franchise. That is where it starts to get confusing, because then you have stuff, the whole thing of Norning people, and Terra becomes Terra Nort at the end, which is technically Xehanort, who is Ansem's apprentice, and then it who killed himself, who technically killed himself, and created a Heartless known as Ansem, and then a nobody in Xemnas. And then, of course, you have Aqua going into like the dark realm, if you will, and that leads to Kingdom Hearts 1. And it's all very, very confusing, and then it just does not stop getting confusing when you go into Dream Drop Distance. But that's another case. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, this game is where Kingdom Hearts starts getting very, very confusing, and if you're playing casually, you're not like heavily invested in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, this is a game in which, yes, you will stop playing. I feel like you will quit this game after a while and a bit, because it gets confusing not knowing what's going on. Like, if you don't have that backstory, if you don't have that perspective of what happens in Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 1, then there's no chance you're going to enjoy this game. Or at least that's what I think. Now I want to talk about the worlds for a moment. I think the worlds are okay. I don't think they're amazing, but I don't think they're bad. The Disney World could go die in a fire. That Disney World, all the mini games, that world could go die in a fire. I think the Princess Worlds were all pretty good in their own right. I think they had some. I think they had issues, but they were also pretty good. Peter Pan World, Neverland, my favorite. It's my personal favorite world in the game. And then Hercules, of course, is a classic. Olympus is great. And then Lilo and Stitch World was actually a lot of fun as well. I think one of the issues I have with this game is that because there are like three different characters and three different stories to play out, all the worlds feel extremely short. But one of the things is that with each character, they explore a different part of the world, if you will. And I think that's what makes this game a lot of like, it makes it replayable, but at the same time it can be frustrating because those worlds are not long at all, and so you could be there for maybe like 30 minutes to I can't even say 30, like an hour, maybe like 30 to 45 minutes, being done with it, and you're like, I want to explore more, I wanted to see more. And it can be very frustrating. At the same time, that's also what makes it replayable. Last thing I want to touch on, the music. It's a Kingdom Hearts game. The music is phenomenal. It's great music. I wouldn't say it's my favorite music from the series. That would, for me, go to Kingdom Hearts 2, as I am a Kingdom Hearts 2 simp myself. But yeah, music's great. I think overall, I think Birth by Sleep is a really good game from a Kingdom Hearts fan perspective. If you think from a casual perspective, then no, I'm not going to enjoy it. But if you look at it from the perspective of a Kingdom Hearts fan, you're going to really enjoy it. My perspective, I think it's the second best game of the series, behind Kingdom Hearts 2, just above Cage 1 and Cage 3. Yeah, that's the quick review. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe. See ya.